Okay, we're now streaming. Cool. All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, friends. Welcome back to Voces Fuertes, a virtual open mic meant to highlight the voices and talents of Latinx and BIPOC communities. I'm your host, Andrew Aaron Valdez. And if nobody has told you today, I love you and I'll always love you. I just want to give a huge shout out to the Julio de Burgos Cultural Arts Center and to Cuyahoga Arts and Culture for ensuring that we have this time and space together. I'm so appreciative for the platform that you have allowed to flourish under your guidance and wings. Well, that is all to say too, speaking of the platform, we've got a rocking open mic set for you today, including an excited feature that I'm like super pumped to bring to you here. Jesus Valles, I am just so excited to hear not only their words that they've got for you, but also all the words and artistry that we're going to bring to you today. But before we get started, I'd be remiss to acknowledge that we are currently occupying stolen land. And I'm here with you virtually, but physically, I'm residing on Shawnee, Wyandotte, Ottawa, and Seneca lands, now known as Cleveland, Ohio. I would also like to take this time to acknowledge the atrocities that have befallen onto our Black community with the losses of Tamir Rice, Philando Castile, Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, Rhea Milton, Elijah McClain, George Floyd, and the countless others. And the impact of their losses will stay with us all. And in recognition of them and the grief that has befallen on our family in the immigrant farm working communities, our LGBTQIA plus community, friends of Asian descent who are currently being scrutinized by 45's racist allegations concerning COVID-19, and the countless communities of color who are currently struggling against the massive racial injustices in our world today. I would just like for you to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. I'd also be remiss to say that silence is not the only thing that we can do to recognize all of our communities that are currently struggling. Another great way that you can do is please find foundations, find these communities, and please show compensation through your wallet, through your time. Now is a time more than ever for us to be out there helping people and sharing stories. So thank you again. Tonight, we will be hearing some voices from JP to Seth Hassan, Rafael Sosa, Miguel, and then we also got Daniel and Amanda Sarabia, Bryson Boyd, Joe Sozano, Alexis Macido, Raymond, Celeste Lunza, and of course, Jesus Valles. I am so pumped to be here with you. And to get through and to open us up for it, I am going to read a short poem of mine. And then as soon as I get through with my poem, you're going to start hearing some awesome DJ licks from our friend JP. So the name of this poem that I'm going to share with you all tonight is called Skeletons. Like skeletons, but with a lot more chicken. So when I was a child, I helped my grandmother clean chicken cages, and she asked that I collect every feather I found so that one day I'd have enough feathers to make wings that she'd use to fly into heaven. And I'd say to her, well, the wings that I make you will be strong enough to get you into heaven, but stronger still to help you find your way back to me. You see, she always found a way to return, like a bad can of Goya or like a blockbuster rental. My grandma's time on earth always on demand. And as a young boy, I was always already trying to get my Netflix or my next fix of grandma time. You see, she was always teaching. Like the first time I experienced death, I was cleaning chicken cages with her. I'd seen chickens before, but never a skeleton. Before I could break out the hymns and amens, Wella was breaking out bowls of cayennes. Little less hens marinade. She let the less hens marinate. Because life lessons shouldn't be buffeted. Now, my family experience was man made. That's a synonym for surviving. Families starving, but they're the ones farming. Call a Mexican a chicken hen, lock them in a chicken pen, ask the family what they'll do then. Farmers behind bars, ain't no one harvesting. Poppies dreaming of penthouses, dreamers dreaming in penthouses, still praising, thinking God's got them. But white gods treat us like Mexihens, feeding us lies about equality like equality bread trims, shepherding us into crowded pens where we pick away trades that they can profit in, confuse their greed, call it for profit in, call it brown skid marketing, sing their greed like a verse and call that a homahymn. You see, my grandma's still fluttering. Every grandchild got her bread trimmed dreams toasting like it's buttering, because the last thing I'll let them do is pluck every feather from her winged back, let her fall like Icarus, make sure her memory never dies like it's a John Lewis chicken story. Awesome. So that's the end of my poem. I'm so excited for this lineup we got up and to send us in with more excitement. JP, come through, share your music, share your voice with us.
Hello. Hello. Sorry, I was a little late, but I wanted to share a couple quick poems because it's been a while. So I'm gonna get to the first one. This one is called The Ocean. I wish I was free like the ocean, free to be myself without any judgment, free to crash off my own wavelength, free to show off all my inner strength, to get deep in my feelings like an abyss, to wash off my guilt, my insecurities, to wash my sins and gain stability. My ocean is so peaceful at times, but here comes the negative tides. Every time the sun shines, the current tries to blind my peaceful waves in my mind with negative sun rays trying to block my shine. Crazy how water could be as strong as my thoughts, but yet be as soft as my heart. Sometimes I want to be as free as the ocean, but people only take advantage of its beauty. So I'll just stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to. All right, that was oceans. This one is called the Honduran Caravan. Dear America, freedom is free. We walked 2,000 miles just to flee. Greed, corruption, poverty. Our tires were our feet, and we left rubber on those streets. We ran on the fuel of each other's heartbeats as we carried our kids like backpacks through the sweltering heat just for a chance to live. So before you judge us, think about your kids. Would you risk your life the way we did? Oh, let me guess. As long as we come into this country legal, huh? I guess having blisters from walking through 3 different countries doesn't matter, huh? I guess Risking your life for a better one ain't enough, huh? I guess asylum doesn't apply to us, huh? I thought all lives matter. All right, y'all, those are my 2 poems. I just been in, like in a real soulful mood. So I just wanted to play a song for you. And it goes a little something like this. Spend it all, money we make. Always see you take it. Oh, and you wanna holler when they do my life. Baby, wanna holler when they do my life. This time, this time. No, no, baby, stand living. No, no. Pleasure, no chance to increase violence. Bills pile up, sky high. Send that boy on to the guy. Oh, baby, mama, holler when they do my life. Oh, yeah, baby, mama, holler when they do my life. Oh. All right, that was the first song. Marvin Gaye, man, just do something to you, I swear. This next one, being that I'm all for the woman, we are nothing without women. Women, I love you. Thank you for just being you and blessing us, the goddess. I dedicate this song to you. I would give her anything if she would just do what I say. Come around my way, baby. Right my Who is that lady? Beautiful lady. Who is that lady? Lovely lady. All right, y'all. Just want to say I love you guys. Thank you for giving me the platform. I appreciate everything that everyone does to be able to share this platform with all these amazing artists and share my music and my words. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, JP. All right, friends. Up next, I'm going to share a music video by a near dear and friend of mine, Seth Hassan. So Seth is a part of a collective called Feed the People, that is a collective of artists gathered together to be the change they want to see in the world. It's a local collective of musicians here in Cleveland, Ohio. Without further ado, I am going to share with you this song.
I ain't give no fucks then, and I don't give no fuck now. Niggas that was dumb then, them niggas they still dumb now. Seem like getting by just ain't enough, now I'm trapped. Yo, I'm trying to vanish, my soul feel damaged, my thoughts is frantic. My life seem like it's all fucked up, cause it ain't how I planned it. Couple hoes I liked up in the past that I ain't meet they standards. Yeah, my roots deep, DNA the same, they hung from the branches. Trapped inside your head all day, the formula for panic said you misunderstood, my nigga, I can understand it. Lots of things that I wish for, wish I ain't take for granted, it's ironic. Yo, I'm trying to cut all the things out my life that make it toxic. Just a bastard to the white crowd that took me and adopted. My boss, she looked down on me just cause she got a doctrine. The loss that I had last year wasn't even shocking. It's hard to have drive when your vices keep you blocked in. Looked inside myself and saw that I might be the problem. The nightmares, they just different when you the one trapped inside them just enough. Yeah. Why I avoid these things. When I'm gone, will they sing? Will they sing? Why I avoid these things. When I'm gone, will they sing? I ain't give no fucks then, and I don't give no fuck now. Yeah. Y'all know what the fuck going on, just enough to get by, nigga. 2019, feed the people to slaughterhouse till infinity. Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, friends. So that was Seth Hassan. You can find him at Seth Hassan _ on Instagram. And you can check out more about Feed the People Cleveland on Instagram at Feed the People CLE. All right, next up, we got another musician here for you. We got Rafael who's going to come up and share his voice. Rafael, why don't you come on through, friend?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, can.
I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie.
No, you got this.
But it's just a song I've been working on. I mean, yeah, I'm about to put it again. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it. Perfect. Gotta keep it going. I'm not giving up. I know I'm finna be the best of watch me. I'm showing up with effort. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. Yeah. Trust me, I'm pulling all this energy. Oh, okay. All the video took off. Hold on. Sorry about that. I think I might have to restart. Watch me with effort. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. Yeah. Trust me, I'm pulling all this energy. I'm doing it for you. I'll make it to the top, put a smile on your face and it's it. I'm trying to be great. I just want to hear someone say, you know, bro, you did it. I worked too damn hard for this, so why stop now? Life is too short. Keep it gears up, man. I'm not that, bro. I'm not that, bro. I'm not that. I'm blood, sweat, and tears, man. It's worth it, perfect. Worth it, perfect. I'm blood, sweat, and tears, man. It's worth it, perfect. Worth it, perfect. Like blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect. Gotta keep it going, I'm not giving up. I know I'm finna be the best watching. I'm showing up with effort, ain't nobody gonna stop me. Yeah. I do this for my family, I do this for myself. I do this for everyone who just lost someone close. I do this for the people that are stuck with this disease. I do this for the homeless folks, just keep on having faith. I do this for the people that are broke. I do this for the people that are going through a heartbreak, man, just focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect. Worth it, perfect. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect. Worth it, perfect. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect. Gotta keep it going, I'm not giving up. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect. Gotta keep it going, I'm not giving up. I know I'm finna be the best of watch me. Showing up with effort, ain't nobody gonna stop me, yeah. I'm not losing, not today, man. I'm running, I keep moving, ain't nobody stopping me. Got this bag, I gotta take, trying to get out all these struggles, trying to keep on pushing forward, and I keep on falling down, but I keep on standing up. Yeah. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect. Gotta keep it going, I'm not giving up. I know I'm finna be the best of watch me. It's going up the effort, ain't nobody gonna stop me. Yeah. All these blood, sweat, and tears, man, it's worth it, perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, well, that's the song. I just really want to say thank you to my aunt for giving me this. She told me about voces fuertes, and I was really interested in doing this. I did mess up because of my phone, and I messed up like some parts, but yeah. But thank you for having me on this, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rafael. Thank you for sharing your voice with us, Brandon. I think even though you messed up, I love that you just kept on going. You know, that's what it's all about. And I appreciate you sharing those moments with us and showing us, you know, perseverance. So thank you so much for being here with us today. Next up, we got Miguel. So Miguel, why don't you come on through and share your voice with us?
Hello. Hello, I'm Mike Corral. I'm from Juarez, Mexico, la frontera con El Paso, Texas. I'm going to play two original songs, and the first song is called Arquitecto. Ok, la siguiente canción se llama Is. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrew. Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Oh man, that was really beautiful. Thank you for sharing your talents with us. Speaking of talented people and friends, I'm so excited to share with you a good friend of mine, Amanda. Why don't you come up and tell us a little bit about the music video that you got for us today?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Miguel, that was amazing. I was definitely in another zone and it was beautiful. Yes, so I'm Amanda Saravia. I'm a Mexican-American producer and teaching artist living in New York. I grew up in Laredo, Texas, and I went to school in Austin, Texas, Hook'em Horns. That's where I met Andrew. And I've been living in New York for 4 years, and I've met so many great filmmakers and artists. And one of them was Dylan Golden, who is the director and the hip hop artist of Orgullo. And Dylan came up to me one day, we worked in a restaurant together, and he was like, hey, you like movies? And I was like, yeah. So we became really great friends. And he then told me weeks later that he does all this hip hop, and he showed me the song Orgullo, and I fell in love, right? It was this cumbia hip hop fusion. And he's like, Amanda, do you want to produce the film? I was like, I've never done that, but let's give it a shot. So we did. And he already had an idea of the story. He wanted to focus on ICE raids, and he wanted to come up with a story that took us through the day in the life of a young Latina mother who is played by Xiomara Osorio. And what continued to fuel my inspiration as the producer of the film was I thought of my family and my friends and my coworkers who've shared their stories with me over the years about their journey as undocumented immigrants in America. And through their stories, I realized that although there are many tragedies that were endured, they remain strong, hard workers who made each day a better day. And this video is for them. Thank you for helping me realize how resilient the heart is, and that no matter how much suffering we are going through, it still pumps and pushes for a better tomorrow. This film was brought to life to defend and give power to the Latinx community against this evil of ICE raids, and the video is a testament to the pride and dedication that we feel for our Latinx heritage and the will we have to just keep fighting for what is right. And the whole team on Orgullo were all supporters of the Latinx community, and we were so happy to utilize everyone's talents to showcase a song that is about pride, about innocence, love, and loss. And yeah, I'm ready to play it if you're ready. But yes, that is Orgullo.
Orgullo está dedicado a las madres y padres que son inmigrantes indocumentados en los Estados Unidos y a todos los niños inocentes que día a día son víctimas de las redadas de ICE. Amiga, saluda. Hola, ahorita. Me esperan. Hola.
Hola, Jennifer. Mucho gusto.
Xiomara, mucho gusto.
Gracias.
Bienvenida.
Gracias.
Anita, cuéntame, ¿cómo estás? Hace días que no te veo. ¿Qué me cuentas de nuevo? Pues aquí, chambeando duro cada día. ¿Y tú cómo has estado? ¿Qué me cuentas?
Ay, pues lo mismo de siempre, ya sabes. Lavando, secando, doblando. Todo divertido.
Divertidísimo. Espera que conozcas a Marisol.
Ah.
Es muy linda, siempre trae la fiesta.
Xiomara, feliz cumpleaños.
Oh, gracias,
amiga.
Estas son las mañanitas que cantaba el rey David. Hoy por ser tu cumpleaños te las cantamos a ti. Despierta, muy bien despierta, mira que ya amaneció y a los pajarillos
parecida, pero yo quiero otra. Ya quiero que sea mis 100 años. Estás muy linda.
Gracias. Ahora
Pero
dos niños. Ay, gracias. Pero ya déjenme cantar, porque me pongo más vieja.
No,
Hay que trabajar. Ya. Mueve las nachas.
Throw your hands in the sky if you feeling Latin pride. Throw your hands in the sky if you feeling Latin pride. Throw your hands in the sky if you feeling Latin pride. It's a vibe, rep your tribe, rep your city. You know we gon' thrive with a knife to a machete. This flow has been deadly, I've been ready, I've been steady. I patiently waiting, I've been ready. I'm ready to blow, I'm confetti. Feeling like the best, though I'm modestly expressed. If I'm too braggadocious, then they coming for my neck. I'm just working for respect, you just working for the check. You just working for the check.
California, la bailan allá en Chicago, la bailan en Nueva York, en San José, California, en el estado de Georgia.
Young and Latin, golden but feel platinum. Feel like I've been stacking. Thinking about the consequences of my daily actions. Number one question is why am I still rapping? Why am I still trapped in this nightmare? I fight tears, cross the border just to sell a fucking quart of water. Escaping poverty just to come here and be slaughtered. Leaving behind our sons and our daughters. Picking fields just to pay the bills. Washing dishes like we repenting our sins. Inferiority complex cause the darkness of our skins. Cause the darkness of our skin. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about no deal. I'm just keeping it real. Spread my voice to the people and hoping that they can heal. Hoping that they can heal. Now I don't give a fuck about no deal. I'm just keeping it real. Spread my voice to the people and hoping that they can heal. Hoping that they can heal. Yeah, yo this song for Puerto Rico. Se fuete María, mató a Mili, pero perseveraste. Para una a todo al país. Mi pana, mi gente, pa'lante, nosotros soy feliz. For the so-called aliens that's locked in cages, separated from their parents like they skin contagious. We the faces of those immigrants, lost with no innocence, working 100 hours just to divvy our dividends. Amongst our family members who don't got a pot to piss in, escape corruption home just to meet our politicians. Don't get caught in the wrong jurisdiction, cause if you ain't speaking addiction, then you might end up missing. Yeah, both palms together as I pray on my knees, face full of determination while I'm praying for peace. Now I don't give a fuck about no deal. I'm just keeping it real. I spread my voice to the people and hoping that they can heal. Regardless of race, creed, and color, I stand in front of my sisters and brothers and put aside our differences so we can learn from each other. So we can learn from each other. Golden.
Dulce Madre, no te alejes, tu vista de mí no apartes. Ven conmigo a todas partes y sola nunca me dejes. Se te va a hacer tarde. A mí ya casi se me hace.
Mom, what is this?
Es avena, no más avena, es más saludable. Toma tu leche, te digo. Ya que tú me quieres tanto como verdadera madre, haz que me bendigan el Padre, el Hijo y el Espíritu Santo. Amén.
Thank you, Amanda and team, so much for coming in through and submitting this video to be a part of Voces Fuertes. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your voice. Next up, we've got another really great treat for you. We got a really great performance here. Bryson, why don't you come on through and come share your voice, friend?
Am I heard? I'm heard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Okay. So I am gonna read nonfiction essays, which don't sound a lot like essays, but they are. Okay, the first one is called Washington State is like totally anew with you. The sun's doing the opposite of breaking, but it's peeking through, yellow and orange above the distant evergreen trees, and your hand keeps grazing mine like you want to hold it. It feels right, like we're only 2 years apart, 24, 22, and your eyes are blue, and I've never liked blue eyes before, never had a set stare back into mine before, let alone for 6 days straight while we venture around my home state like it's uncharted territory. Seattle is filled with past memories of every single man I've loved. Tacoma is filled with every single drug memory of my childhood. And yet the way the trees smell today, drafting over the water, over the sound to us on this island bound ferry, makes me feel like all the air is totally different and the world is totally new. And you're like, well, IDK yet, but I really like hanging out with you, Brendan. I'm really terrified of dying. I think I've told you this, maybe in these past few days, in between us sneaking you into my bed, us going to bars for one drink and then very promptly leaving because all we want to do is walk around and talk about the way our sisters and moms are the prettiest, bestest women in the world and are our best friends. I like leaving bars early with you when the alcohol hasn't settled over our eyes and your mouth still feels smooth when it latches to mine. You're looking out at the ferry, bumping the wooden logs as we land on the island. And I know I've told you, but my 65-year-old grandma died of liver disease and bled out everywhere 7 years ago. She was my best friend too. And since then, I've been so terrified of getting old and saying I missed out on shit, or worse yet, afraid of dying too early. But being here with you makes me realize the fear that's lingered since grandma left, that death is dictating my life, my entire life. Maybe it's a good thing that I'm always worried about dying because if it means jumping and dishing everything to hang out on boats with people like you. We are calling you nomadic right now, which is a cute way to say you've been sleeping in your rental car for these past few days. You've been traveling for 6 months to find who you really are, which I think is so cool. Cause like I say that I know who I really am with these degrees and all this writing I do, but I'm so fucking scared it's all a lie. You have $10,000 saved up from odd jobs, roofing and farming and teaching horseback riding to go to South America and Costa Rica and luckily Washington State, where we met because I'm visiting home for a month. I needed to get away from New York, which I hate. Not even for the rats, but for the way people say I'm from New York, like it's some fucking badge or something. Also, I'm avoiding the man I live with back in Brooklyn, the man I thought I loved before he started to forget that I existed. I'm watching you now that we're off the ferry, walking on the rocky beach, you throwing a stick up into the air for Atlas, your toy fox terrier pit bull mix, to run up and jump for and make all the little old ladies walking on the beach go like, aw. I think it's like, aw, that neither of us know who we are, but when we hang out, that doesn't matter even a little bit. This morning, I grabbed my North Face off the floor and ran out the door when you responded to my text with, hey, you want to go hang out on an island with me and Atlas today? Vashon's pretty. Actually, all the islands are here in my wonderful Puget Sound area, which I'm tour guiding you around before you eventually have to go off on your travels and I have to return to my life. But growing up here, I always knew that if someone lived on the islands, they probably have a lot of money. This whole time we've talked about our exes, which is weird considering how it's in between us making out with each other's mouths, like each other's mouths is filled with some fucking diamonds or new Nikes or something. I don't know that much about your exes really, but mine have mostly all had money. One had horses, another had a family cabin in the woods. The man I live with in Brooklyn is 31 and still has his mother send him $2,000 a month from their family farm down south. They sing country music, pretending they have the slightest idea of what it feels like to be poor. It's annoying. Your mom's a single mom of 6 and a flight attendant who has cleared out her retirement savings 3 times. I know we're kind of hiking right now, Brendan, and you're leading the way, so I can't look into your eyes. But before, when I told you how my dad sold a bunch of drugs in the 90s and then turned into a crackhead and ruined our family, when I told the men I've loved this story, their eyes looked so filled with pity and then they go to hold my hand like it'll fix any of that shit. But the way your eyes looked filled with understanding, the way that you told me your sister's on probation right now, and that's why she can't do this massive trip with you, your blue eyes made me feel like the men in my life aren't destined to always be confused by my past. I don't like taking photos to post on Instagram. I do it, yeah, because like I'm a writer and it's like for my career, but most of the time I really don't give a fuck. And I want to dump my phone into this chai latte you just bought me at this tiny little local coffee shop near the ferry dock. We only have an hour left on this ferry, which sucks, but like whatever. I stalked you last night after you went to go sleep in your back seat, and I went back to go sleep in mommy's guest room bed that I can't sneak you into when she's home, or else she'd very swiftly murder me. I charged a new iPhone to the man in Brooklyn's credit card last week because I realized I say I love you to him every time I hang up from FaceTime, but he's always in too much of a rush to say it back. Last night, when me and you had to kiss goodnight, I spent the next 3 hours trying to learn just who Brendan Ray Green is. And it turns out he's cool and smiles a lot and doesn't seem to mind if his photos on average only have 40 likes on them. My education's cost $500,000, half of it grants, half of it debt. And your face looked shocked when I told you that because you ditched community college when you were 19. But I've read lots of poetry and know what postmodernism and futurism are now. So kind of worth it, IDK. But my chai is almost gone and your herbal tea is near empty. And we're laughing lots at stupid dick and ball jokes. And I'm taking pictures of us with my new iPhone that are way prettier than the Polish writer and all the portraits in the frick. And even the ones in the deep recesses of my Google photos of all the dudes I used to scream love poems about. IDK if I'll see you again. You and I keep saying next time in our texting words, but the world is always in a bitchy mood and we're not even old enough to rent a car from Ava's budget. You're renting a car from an app you discovered in the app store. But as we go back to land and leave the island, I raise up on my toes. You're 2 years younger than me, but also 4 inches taller than me. And I kiss you in front of strangers on the bow of this ferry. You say something about something and I pull out my phone to play you this country song that I've always loved. I avoid listening to my favorite albums because like the memories with those lyrics and notes are like so strong that I don't want to ruin them by over listening, but I play you a song anyways. Do we really have to grow up? If we never do, then so what? So what if I don't wanna? What if I'm just gonna stay drunk on all the years that I wish would just slow up? And I don't worry about those lyrics and my years-old memories fading, losing their luster as I blast my iPhone speakers against the waves crashing into this now mainland-bound ferry. Because all I want and all I'm hoping for in this moment is that my favorite song and this memory ventures into your mind somewhere and pitches tent, even if it's just for a while. I sat across from you at Fusion Sushi yesterday and we shared a kimchi pancake and my heart dropped and I realized how much I like you without knowing that much about you. I don't know what any of that means because in a second, I'll have to fly back to New York to figure out this Brooklyn shit. You're going to South America soon. And in a second, we'll both probably be getting on track to figuring out who we're really supposed to be. But despite the world, my heart feels effervescent here on this ferry with you, Brendan. I just wanted to tell you that. So that's the first one. And then this one is called I'm the New American Dream. And it's in the form of an email sent to 3 rich white dudes. So it's a totally different kind of essay, but here it goes. Dear freshmen Lucas, Tyler, and Zach, and upperclassmen Lucas, Tyler, and Zach, in case you didn't get it the first go around. I hope this summer has treated you well and so very excited to be working with you this coming year. I want to share the following tips for your arrival to campus in the coming weeks. Sincerely, the New American Dream. Also, this essay is called The New American Dream, or I Am the New American Dream. But all right. 10 notes for those white guys' arrival to campus. 1, I am the future and I am now. A poor, queer, educated like a motherfucker Blaxican. I'm your donor parents' mixed blood wet dream. Let my fro remind you of this when it blocks the smartboard. I'm so dark, but I blend in when invited to melanin brunches. I'm so light, I barely scared the woke whites walking at night. Barely. 2, the dining halls are mine. I may love Taylor's love story more than life itself, but the rap that they blare at late night that you and your little friends eat chicken strips and bob your idiot blonde heads to, that's also mine. I was raised on it. We'll play it at my wedding for when my dad drinks enough to think people would actually listen to his SoundCloud if he had one. And in their hearts, Dre and Jay will always like me more, no matter how much money you or Apple throw at them. So keep your head still unless your headphones are on. 3, In the quad, I'll see you eyeing me, my cut, my shirt, all the way down, fixated on my button fly Calvins. I'll know the rumors you'll be wondering. You don't have to stare, they're true. I'll show you later if I like you. 4, you'll be free to use the Career Center to your advantage. Your father's iPhone contacts too. Mine's a crackhead, but it's cool. I encourage you to compete with each other for that Goldman Sachs internship, but warn that this skin does more than look better than your peeling red sunburn. Diversity and inclusion sucking up that summer position, much like it's taking over your dad's tenure on Wall Street. Now might be the time to start reevaluating your idyllic dreams of endless pussy until you marry, retire wealthy, and gray in Westchester. 5, in classes, you'll raise your hand and speak for minutes on end about books you've never read, but I'll be the one who's listened to, the one who will be praised like the fucking king I am. I won't even have to demand it. Everyone just will. Your little white girlfriend saying how culturally incisive my comments are, how eye-opening. Professor saying profound even. And I'll smile and nod and say thank you. But do know that I will be staring at you, thinking how you hate me, how you almost kind of want to be me. You blonde faggots wish with your tiny dicks. 6, when you hear my wingtips tap down the hall, I want you to bow heads and put hands over heart like it's your national fucking anthem. 7, from time to time, you might see me on campus wearing my Under Armour university crest on my chest. Your eyes locked, you'll think of going to the bookstore later to buy one, but when you try it on, it'll feel like a wrong fit. If when you see me, it seems like I walk around in this sweatshirt like I'm better than you, it's because I am. 8, it'll often be dangerous for you to walk into student services. It will be very costly to your parents and may even dip into your funds for your Costa Rican summer. I, however, am always in there, chatting with Linda, checking on my direct deposits, my university grants, my Pell grants, all the diversity donation money from your dumbass grandparents, keeping my debt at a cool 000. 9, when you learn, because you will, tell me what it feels like to know that someone's better than you, because that's one thing I can't learn here. And 10, in addition to all this, I know it's a lot. I urge you to absolutely do the following upon your arrival to campus this fall. Please feel free to continue walking around like your dick is bigger than the 4 inches it is. Please speak your mind as if people still care what you have to say. And please tell yourself in whispered mirror pep talks that the future remains yours to be conquered. But when you spread your pasty ass legs wide on the train or pump your chest walking through campus, remember that a white man like yourself once wrote, the most dangerous thing in America is a nigger with a library card. Remember that I've got a droid in this university's Wi-Fi code. And above all, remember that I am the new American dream, bitch. So go ahead and keep my name in your mouth. And then that's it. So thank you for listening. I hope that wasn't too long. People still there? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Bryson. Thanks for sharing your voice. Appreciate you. Not long enough. Thank you. Appreciate you. Next up, we got Joe. So Joe, why don't you come on through and come share your voice for us?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Joe Sorzano. Thanks so much for having me on tonight. Really appreciate it. I'm going to sing a song that I think is decently relevant to what's going on. I do come from a musical theater background, so it's a song from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, one of my favorite musicals. I hope you enjoy it. I enjoy both perspectives of this song. I think they're still relevant, so I hope you enjoy it. Any adult with half a brain can see the humankind has gone insane, to the point where I don't know if I'll upset the status quo if I throw poison in the water main. Listen close to everybody's heart and hear that breaking sound. Hopes and dreams are shattering apart and crashing to the ground. I cannot believe my eyes, how the world's filled with filth and lies. But it's plain to see the evil inside of me is on the rise. Look Look around, we're living with the lost and found. Just when you feel you've almost drowned, you find yourself on solid ground. And I believe there's good in everybody's heart. Keep it safe and sound. With hope, you can do your part to turn a life around. I cannot believe my eyes. Is the world finally growing wise? 'Cause it seems to me some kind of harmony is on the rise. Anyone with half a brain can spend their whole life howling in pain. 'Cause the dark is everywhere and no one even seems to care that soon the dark in me is all that will remain. Listen close to everybody's heart and hear that breaking sound. Hopes and dreams are shattering apart and crashing to the ground. I cannot believe my eyes, how the world's filled with filth and lies. But it's plain to see the evil inside of me is on the rise. All right, thank you so much for having my voice on today. I've enjoyed everything tonight. Everybody's killing it. So good. And I can't wait to see what else we got left. All right, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much for sharing your voice. Thanks for coming on Voices Fuerte. And what a superstar voice you have. Thank you so much. Next up, we got Alexis. Alexis, why don't you come on through and come share your voice next, friend?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. There's so much talent in this space right now. I used to work at a Mexican grocery store, and I spoke enough Spanish to get by, but apparently not enough Spanish for anyone to consider me Mexican. So this is I Don't Speak Spanish, a cashier's stream of consciousness. Buenos días. ¿Quieres bolsa? 54.12 centavos. Que tenga un buen día. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, ¿y usted? I was taught you're supposed to say usted instead of y tú for strangers or to show respect. Oh, señora, perdóname, no hablo español. Ugh, why did I say that? Otherwise, she wouldn't have known. Take a breath and bite your tongue now that your cover's blown. Buckle up, cause here we go. No speak Spanish? Tú no mexicana. You should have to learn your language, muchacha. Mija, whose fault is it you don't speak Spanish? Tu abuela? She taught me more than a language. If you want to blame someone, blame Dora. I've heard this so many times. I've run out of excuses. I got creative and said, my parents messed up and taught me French, German, or hell, even Arabic. You know, if I hadn't said anything, you wouldn't have been the wiser. Should have let you just see the color of my skin, hear my trained tongue, and you probably would have been nicer. First off, you don't know me. Tu no mexicana. Who are you to tell me who I am? Bagging your groceries and a hello was the extent of our interaction. Too brown for white people, too white for brown people. Is the language and my melanin the only thing keeping me from one or the other? I identify how I identify. Read my lips. I'm a Latinx woman of color. But if you really want to know, since you're so interested, I grew up with kids who thought they were stupid. The I'm afraid to speak kind of stupid. The wheels turning in their head as they try to translate to their parents what the DMV worker, cashier, etc. just said. Spoken Spanish at home, broken English at school. At that age, language shouldn't be an obstacle. It's a tool to express their ideas, paint pictures with imagination, not be the transition period of their parents' assimilation. You should tell them they should learn English. Wait, what? They're in America. They should learn English. How about we don't tell others what they should speak? I would just be sitting and spitting back the same spiel I didn't want given to me. And isn't that the same as saying go back to where you came from? If you don't want to learn English, then go back to where you came from. That stems from the same harmful and racist ideology as, you know, there were moments where I wish I did speak Spanish. Not just my colors, numbers, how to order at a taqueria kind of Spanish, fluent Spanish. Angry female villain in a novela Spanish. The rapid vowels and shapes that would send sparks flying off my red lips just as the matchstick strikes against the red phosphorus. Whew. On July 4th, the holiday we didn't celebrate this year, my neighbor of sorts plays the national anthem on a speaker for the whole cul-de-sac to hear. And he assumed, above his neighbor's ethnicity, or the world today, yeah, his privilege led him to assume he didn't need to read the room. He thought a speech from a Cheeto deserved to be heard, so I start racking my brain for every and any profane Spanish curse word, but all I could do was boo. Looking back, I owe him an apology. Booing was an immature insult, not to him, obviously, but to my vocabulary. I'm a poet, and trust me, I should have marched across the street and eloquently described the lack of sensitivity it takes to play a speech by someone who believes that you can just look at another person and say, go back to your, or grab them by the. I should have shown him just how creative and colorful my inner thesaurus when pushed off the edge can be. I got off topic. I do that, get off topic. My mind and my mouth try to catch up with each other when I get really passionate about a certain topic. Where was I? Right. You say because I don't speak Spanish, I'm not Mexican. Okay, that's a start. Why not dive a little deeper if you're trying to take away my brown card? I hate tequila. I've never been to Mexico. Actually, back up. Tequila hates me. Does liquor know what languages you speak? Because it screams, I've got to get out of this, gringa, as it jumps out of me. I roll my R's. Was Selena for Halloween, dance bachata. I don't have to speak Spanish for a grito from my soul to be released. I love red lipstick, gold hoops. My jam growing up was a good novela, translated by my mom, of course. I don't flip tortillas on the comal with a spatula. I flip them with my bare hand, of course. I grew up in fear of La Llorona, getting pregnant before 16. I don't have to speak Spanish to know what La Chancla means. So don't tell me who I am because of what I do or don't speak. Take your groceries. Afuera, get out and away from me. I don't get paid enough to have a grumpy old brown woman nitpick me. I get respect your elders, but technically you're not my elder and you started this with me. You're not my grandma. Don't call me mija. Even though no speak Spanish, I'm still a Latina. No matter what I am, I still possess the lingual capability to articulate, cross T's, dot I's, and spit with mastery, because the only person it should matter to what language I speak is speaking. Thank you so much for having me and listening.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Thank you for sharing your voice with us. Like strong words. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes. Just a reminder to all our friends here, please go on and check out the YouTube channel. We're here on the Julio de Burgos Cultural Arts Center YouTube channel. Please, I encourage you to come out, read the comments, look at all the love people are giving out to you. Thank you so much. Next up, I'm going to share one more music video by our friend Celeste. Celeste is a New York City-based, multifaceted performing artist. You can see more of her work at her Instagram at Celeste Lanuza Official, and I'll drop that in the YouTube comments down below. The music video is called Now, and it's a concept dance video.
Alright. CEO of the free world now. Build your walls up high and wide. Make it rain to keep them out. That won't change what we are inside. reap the fruit of your labor.
These could be people who are contributing to society, who have been here for years, have built their families here, who have great values, who, for all intents and purposes, are the kind of citizens we want to fill our communities with. It's just that they're undocumented.
Is that the look of freedom? No. Is that the sound of freedom? No. 'Cause it's plain to see a man's integrity by the way he treats those he does not need. And it's time we talk about it. Let's not waste our common ground. We will fall for standing and watching all this silence. Dear Lord, are we numb? Where we going right now?
See innocent people being ripped from their way of life to essentially be incarcerated and used as cheap labor is really crazy, man.
CEO of the free world now.
It's a day-to-day struggle. I was released on a $10,000 bond. And being in there, seeing the atrocity and how we are being victimized as humans and as detainees, I took upon myself to become an activist.
Is that the look of freedom? Now, is that the sound of freedom? Now.
How can somebody be kept for like 9 years, 4 months, no? That's not detention. So if anybody tells you this is the detention, no, it's not. They're prisons.
And it's time we talk about it. Let's not waste our common ground. We will fall for standing and watching all this silence. Dear Lord, are we numb? Where we going right now? No, not later. Not right now, not right now, no, not later. No, not later. All right now, all right. Now, now, now. Now, now, now. Now or never, we can work together. Now, now, now. Now, now, now. We only sign for what we allow. Now, now, now. For other people in Puerto Rico.
This whole system is built on isolation, and so we have to do our best to shine a light on it and build community and build power together.
The dreamers, the black lives that we lost right now. Let's get way low right
Our responsibility to each other is not to allow the system to use us as wedges.
We are the look of freedom. We are the sound of freedom. We are the look of freedom.
It's the time now to really speak out, and not only speak out, but to do something about what we believe in if we want to see the
We are the
change.
sound of freedom.
So just to share a little bit more about it, you can learn more about the concept and the choreography and the dance by checking in with Celeste Lanuza at her Instagram at Celeste Lanuza Official. Just knowing that a special shout out and thank you to those at the Chicano Park in San Diego, California, and for the compelling music work that was offered by Miguel. Next up, I want to introduce our feature for tonight. So our feature here with us, who I'm so excited for you to hear their voice and to let you know a little bit more about them. I wanted to tell you that Jesus Ayvalles is a queer Mexican immigrant, educator, storyteller, and performer from Ciudad Juarez and El Paso. Jesus is a 2019 Lambda Literary Fellow, a 2019 Walter E. Dakin Playwriting Fellow of the Sewanee Writers Conference, a recipient of the 2019 Letras Latinas Scholarship from the Community of Writers at Squaw Valley, and a Poetry Fellow at Idlewild Arts Writers Week. Jesus is also a 2018 UndocuPoets Fellow, a 2018 Tin House Scholar, a Fellow of the 2018 Poetry Incubator, and the runner-up in the 2017 Button Poetry Chapbook Contest. Their work has been published in the Shade Journal, the Texas Review, the New Republic, Bableritas, the Accentos Review, Quarterly West, the Mississippi Review, Palette, the Detroit Journal, the McNeese Review, and Pank. As an actor, they are the recipient of 4 B. Iden Payne Awards, including Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama and Outstanding Original Script, and was nominated for the Mark David Cohen New Play Award for their play, Undocuments. Jesus is currently Outsider Festival's Outsider in Residence, and if that didn't get you pumped up for the feature that we have tonight, here to share their words with you is Jesus. Jesus, why don't you come up here and share your voice with us?
Nada, es puro pedo. No, ya valimos verga. Like, it doesn't, it's not that deep. Hey, everybody. I'm Jesus Valles. I'm toda greñuda because it's quarantine and that's just how the gigs work. Yeah, so I wanted to share a couple of poems. I feel super, super fortunate to have shared space with so many really incredible performers tonight. Me tenían chillando, bro. Like, I was like crying. I was like watching these videos and listening to y'all stories and your poems and your essays and like your monologues, and I was just like, I miss live performance a ton, and I miss getting to share like physical space with artists. So one of the cool, beautiful things about this moment, there are so very few beautiful, cool things about this moment, is that we get to travel and we get to perform our work in states that we may have never performed in, and across state lines that some of us may not be able to cross. So I think this is a really, really fantastic opportunity to share words with each other at a time where I think so many of us are finding homes in language because the concept of home feels so uncertain and tenuous. As the bio said, I am from Juarez, Chihuahua, which is on the border with El Paso, Texas. And when I was 9 years old, my father carved out the seat of his pickup truck and he put me inside it and he was like, "Shh, duérmete." And we crossed, and 45 minutes later, I was undocumented and living in El Paso, Texas. So I told this story to a literary agent, and this was at a retreat, and I'd been told, they were like, "Oh, there's no money in poetry. Just this meeting with this agent is not a thing. Like, just talk to them. It'll be cute." And I was like, "All right, cool." So the agent was like, "Oh, you're Jesus," and I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Wait, hold on. What do you do again?" And I go, "Oh, I write about and I didn't even finish the word immigration." And she goes, "You're the truck. Oh, you're the truck." And I was like, so this first poem is kind of an introductory poem that I like to do sometimes so that y'all get to know me, and a little bit about how I got here, like to this country, literally. After reading my bio, the one where I tell her how I was brought to this country, the agent says, "You're the truck." And I think, yes, I am the truck and what was done to it. My father had to first realize that he was thinking of putting a 9-year-old body inside of a truck seat. Then he had to arrive at this being a good idea. Then he had to think of what to gut the seat with, what instruments of surgery to best execute gutting. I imagine the guts of truck seats are cumbersome, but I've never seen a gutted seat. It was very dark that night. It was 22 years ago. Anyway, it wouldn't be like gutting a pig or a snake. I know what that looks like. It's easier, I think. No springs inside of an animal, as I imagine there are in car seats. Are there springs in car seats? Do they fight back when they're being ripped open? Did the pig? Did the snake? Anyway, my father had to find the thing to gut the seat, and the seat had to be gutted. And then I would think there was a moment of hesitation, just a small moment when the thing was done. Was there? Did he think to himself at any point placing me inside of a truck seat was a foolish thing? Did he laugh to himself when he made my chariot? Would being caught have been funny? How sure was he that this would work? It would be funny to me to gut a truck seat and think to fit a child inside it, like the best parts of sneaking your own candy into a shitty movie. I know that sometime between being inside the truck seat and being told we were leaving, I cried a lot. I cried a lot as a kid, especially about leaving anything called home. But yes, he placed me inside of a seat and there were blankets and I was told to go to sleep. At what point did he account for snoring? But I guess kids don't snore much, or farting. People fart in their sleep all the time. I wonder if he cared for that kind of detail. This is all to tell you, it wasn't sad. It was ridiculous. The way sometimes dogs eat their newborns, not for any reason, but because it's what there is to do. I'm saying that nothing about that moment made me mistrust any of the people in that truck. I'm saying my father is hilarious and brave, and I can't imagine my life any other way, not really. But yes, my father made a womb for me from a truck seat he gutted. He took a knife to this thing he loved to love me as best he could. He took a knife to a thing he loved to present me to the altar of a bridge. A truck seat birthed me the second time I was born. This time, both my parents used their hands to pull me into breathing. They played midwife. It's funny, the truck had a womb and my parents were the parteras. There's a posada image in here somewhere, some Mary and Joseph thing to say here. The parents walk a very pregnant truck through a bridge so she can give birth. Anyway, I don't know where my dad bought the truck, so I don't know if the truck is a US citizen. And if the truck was made here and I emerged from the womb my father made me, am I a citizen if I was born out of this truck and two legal residents pulled me, delivered me into breathing at a 7-Eleven? Am I a citizen? Why not? Please explain in the space below. So that's the first poem, and I like to read it to just let people know, like, hey, my parents brought me here in a truck seat. I'm from Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua. I lived there until I was 9 years old, and sometimes I find it funny when I come to the U.S. and like I hear people who like write these beautiful odes about like Mexico, and they're like, and I am a serpent y toda esta madre. And I'm like, cool, bro. But they grew up in Connecticut their whole life. And I was like, pero donde? Like, where's your snake, girl? So I wrote a poem about this kind of impulse to really like romanticize Mexico that like people haven't seen, right? Because Mexico is still like a nationalist project that is like built on colonialism and slavery too, right? Like it's a nation, and that's what nations do. So this is a poem called Mexican Standard About a Desert, and it's part of a series of these poems I call Mexican Standards, which are sort of me like riffing on tropes that are used in like Mexican poems often. And because the desert is often like an image that's used in a lot of poems, I wanted to kind of be like, as someone who grew up in a desert, here's the tea. Okay. Mexican Standard About a Desert. I can't claim cactus flowers, eagle-wrecked serpent, or any plant that heals. What goddess of war came to me as a boy, dumb, summer sweat, wet child? None. No corn god or lake-born warrior, gold dust, feathered beast claims me. My world begins all dead toenails and cardboard sleds, patas sucias. Coca-Cola sweet, Sunday stewed tripe, red chile, fried egg stink, and her, maquiladora, mother deity of want, metal plates, steam howl, smoke tower silos, machine, motor, and all parts, all American. She made me more than anything the ground could gift the desert's night sky. Excuse me while I weep. Mass production always makes me die. No, cry. Everything I know about the desert, I know from bones in the sand. Yes, the dead women's, but yes, also my mother's, walking on and on. And so that's a poem about the desert. Yeah. Next, I want to read a poem that I don't usually read a ton. I performed this poem as part of my solo show, which is called Undocuments, which is it's a one-person show about how it was brought to the U.S. I had two brothers who were deported, one in 2008 and one in 2009. And at the same time that all of this was happening, I just recently been naturalized as a citizen. And so the show is really about what happens when family members share different statuses and what that means. This is a very small poem that I wrote to my father, who has never said I love you to me, but I know he does, but he's a Mexican man, and así pasa, like they, when it comes to love, they're like, what? Never heard of her. So they show it, they just don't say it. So this poem is very simple. It's called Apá, lo quiero mucho. I've told my father I loved him a handful of times. He has never said it back. My father has never told me he loves me. Perhaps the working sun baked his muscles stiff. His mouth went first, then his hands. Maybe my grandfather made a casket for the word love in his throat, buried love with him. My old man loves me, but he has never said it. Lately, I see him less and try it more often. On the phone, le digo, Apá, lo quiero mucho. He hangs up the phone or passes it to my mother at this point. Es cosa de machos, no. No decirle a tu hijo el joto que lo quieres. I know he does. Mi papá, con su mirada de piloncillo, con su piel de cemento y piedra. Cómo lo quiero a mi viejo. Cómo me quiere mi papá. I've learned to read the tiny fractures that make macho so fragile. He might never read this. Papá, lo quiero mucho. And that's the poem about my dad, and I'm crying because I'm a chillona, and that's okay. Crying is a language too. So next, I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read a poem that's fairly new. I don't read it a lot because I don't think it's finished, and I also think like we don't have time to be afraid of our drafts. We don't have time to be afraid of unfinished words because I think they often speak to truths that need to be said. In 2013, I'll say it this way: I experienced sexual assault, and I often have trouble with the word survivor, and I often have trouble with the word victim. And so the best way my clumsy language can come to this happened to me is to say I experienced sexual assault. And I've been trying to think about what happened to me that night. And so I'm going to read this poem, and I'm going to read it. If just for context, so one of the first story of sexual assault, of rape, of non-consensual taking that I ever heard was the story of Ganymede, which is a Greek myth about how Zeus finds this boy who he thinks is so beautiful that Zeus disguises himself as an eagle, takes the boy away, and it's like a very thinly veiled metaphor for like rape. This is called Unravel Ganymede. Zeus descends, an eagled, hungry, fucking, dick-taloned for soft meat, a just stewed boy, a steward for his cup. Zeus thinks, and like that, just like that, a history of me, of taking. Ganymede was beautiful, so his taking was just, is the logic. So is the logic that I too was beautiful, even if during he called me fat and meant ugly, if he called killing every bright thing in me fucking. Let many men tell it and lose yourself in the names. Was it Tantalus or Minos or Zeus draped in flesh? I do not know his name. I couldn't see the feathers. Where did it happen? A hotel room in Round Rock? Conjecture of compensation. Hermes brought horses to Ganymede's grieving father. Tros was told his boy was now a dazzling made of burning pinpricks in the sky's skin. Aquarius. I wished myself burning too. Ganymede's face was beaten into mosaics. His taking told pulchritudinous, sentimental, more a tribute to the way a soft thing can be ripped, like pinning a monarch to the mattress and plucking only one wing. To take the boy down from the stars, to unwrite his taking, would be to stop the poem somewhere. Here, give the pen to Ganymede, pray his fist fast, tight here, plunge the sharp into the give of the eagle's throat until the feel of that man's breath fights back against the steady hand until the rapist dies from history too. Here, the pen sops up his blood, his heart disappears from inside me. Oh, miracle, The pen slurps up his bones and skin until he is gone. And I never take a taxi to a hotel room in Round Rock. And his friend never takes a knee to my back and pins my shoulders to the bed. And Zeus never rapes the boy. So there is no precedent in history or art for what was done to my body. And later that day, instead of a quiet bus ride home and my bleeding, there is gelato. And the red letters of digital clocks never remind me of the only things I could see from the floor in the dark when he was done. Here, Ganymede wrestles the eagle before they make it to Olympus and drives death into him. To unwrite this would mean to kill a god and instead worship nothing but my own will. Here, let me make quick work of the story. Give me a pen. And so that's that poem. If you're not watching the show I May Destroy You, I recommend it. It's a really, really good show, and also deals a lot with sexual assault and how we put our bodies back together after. I'm gonna read like two more poems. I'm gonna read 3 more poems real quick. Y luego ya me callo porque ya it's too much. I'm being dramatic. Okay. The next 2 poems are about the future. I think a lot about migrants and what our future might be in this country. So this one I wrote after Trump and his administration essentially like called us all animals, right? And then they were like, no, we're talking about MS-13, and I was like, no, you're not, bro. So the poem is called, and one day, after being called the plague, an animal, an alien, this thing happened. It began with the legs. First, the bones curved and folded into bows. The kneecaps were springs now. The calf muscles unfurled themselves into strings. There were pockets of air now where our heels once had bone. We laughed at their walls, their chain link fences with our new legs. Our legs laughed, or they sang. It was curious. Our new legs made a thing like laughing and singing. The strings mid-leap would catch the air, pluck themselves into birdsong or cicadas before they bloom, or our grandmothers quietly blessing the land and then cursing the men who took it. There were fields of us now gathered and from everywhere. Everyone, the same song, cry and curse. Everything called border shattered. Checkpoints shook, then collapsed, and everything uniformed and armed was naked and still and silent long enough to listen to this song, this end. And we remembered this thing that Abuelita had always said about the end of the world, that the world ends every day for someone, that every world ends. There, that summer full of corn, rain, and witchcraft, where we sat and watched the grasshoppers with her and learned how to die best. And when this world ended and nothing needed a passport or a birth certificate, our shoulders broke open. The blades splintered into shards, plumes, canopies, opaque, translucent, and just like nighttime and oil slick. God, we grew wings. We were every bit of glory and wildness. Algo así como chapulines. I've got 2 more, y lo ya. This one is called Hello, My Name is Carmelita. And I wrote it. I wrote it after seeing a name tag on a member of the housekeeping staff at a hotel who reminded me a ton of my mom. My mom has cleaned houses in the U.S. since she was 13. This year she will be 64. So she has spent most of her life cleaning up after Americans, and never being one herself. So yeah, this poem is inspired by her and by all of the women who keep this world running. Hello, my name is Carmelita, but your name could be Rosa or Jessica or Patti. You can't pay rent in the language of service here. Joy is some other country you grieve fondly, some place your baby's mouths never go missing, and you lead every song and you know all their little worlds. Mami, ¿qué hay de comer? Mami, ¿cómo me quieres? Once, across the bridge, the world began at your mouth. Your children are barbed wire away now. Their little beaks parrot things in the language that forgets to pay you on time, God. Their lungs only make this faraway music in every room of the house, always loudest amid dirty pots and pans. Maybe today you'll dive headfirst into the sink or the oven's maw. Remember every English night class you couldn't finish. God, everything else is drowning in a tall boy. In thick meat you took for better or worse, a man you reared into becoming a father who wants to grapevine his rot around you. God, everything in English wants you gone. God, everything that lived in your womb once is foreign. Little American strangers that cried their way out of you. Every day you steal away onto the train cars that leave the mouths of the people on the television. You practice English and pray your lips will harden into a beak. Or maybe you'll sprout wings, and one day you wake up covered in scales and feathered. Winged mother, you scoop your children in your claws and fly to some time where there are no countries or names, and everything you have ever loved best is alive and made of fire. And there, you save your children anyway. Yeah, and that's a poem for the mommies. Because yeah, my mom is the only reason like I am alive and well, and so yeah. Okay, this is the last poem I'm reading. Lo ya me callo, and y'all can go home or chill or I don't know, drink tequila, something good. This is a poem about tias. I love aunties. I think aunties make the world go around. Like all our tias are our ancestors, but alive, hopefully, and if not, they taught us the way when they were, both through cautionary tales that they lived and maybe and also in their like consejos. So this is about tias in space. It's about the future. So it's like Star Trek, but with tias. On a spaceship somewhere long after empires collapse, somehow, even in this future, amidst motherboards and cast-aside MREs, every Cool Whip and country crock tub is still deceitful, more mystery than promise, housing nothing like its original cargo, but instead salsa and the week's beans. Even with the stars close enough to kiss, the swerve heat of celestial bodies pegadito, every Danish butter cookie tin is still stocked with the seamstress's tools, her threads, thimbles, and every needle that ever kept our miseries mended. And right above the cold steel of the bolted spaceship doors, the same thing as always, a horseshoe wrapped in red ribbon, a wreath of garlic, and a picture of San Judas, and that one gilded rendition of the Last Supper that she ordered from the Home Interiors catalog. We're inside a space leviathan, waltzing with every lover moon Jupiter's neglected, and every earth is a distant story we are told before bed, right before she blesses us. And every morning still smells like huevos con chorizo and the Avon spray that she loves most. On Earth, someone told my tia Kame, go back to your country, which she took to mean, go home. And if the sky is the thing that follows us everywhere, she thought, if the vast black blue saw me born, then the sky is my home. And every star is every place I've come from. Long after the empire was no more, it was all of the aunties who led every expedition. Just like on Earth, it was all of the tias who looked at an unknown and threw their heads back, cackling as they soared into the sky, showing the children, all of us, where exactly we belonged. Okay, ya me callo. Thank you all so much for allowing me to come into your space and for sharing your work and your art and your time. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, friend. Thank you for coming on to Voices Fuertes and sharing your voice with us. I am just in awe of all the work that you do and all the words that you speak, and also for being here, all of the friends that we saw today. I'm in awe of every single one of you and all of our past features and all of our past participants in the open mic. My hat and my love is off to you. Thank you so much. And that is all here today for Voces Fuerte in today's feature. Once again, my name is Andrew Aaron Valdez. I'll drop @ and Instagram handles and websites in the comments below. If you don't see it there, hopefully you'll get to see it on the Julio de Burgos Cultural Arts Facebook page, which I will update with them with a list of all of the information of our past features and participants. So if you saw something you loved, saw something you liked, go out and support all of the friends here. Speaking of which, I want to thank one more time the Julio de Burgos Cultural Arts Center and the Cuyahoga Culture and Arts Center for giving us this platform to speak and share our voices. So that's all for me today. If no one has told you today, I wanted to tell you, make sure I told you one more time that I love you. Have a fabulous rest of your Friday. We'll see you on the other side. Bye.